Hello everybody, my name is Trevor Classy and this is a summary video of my new book called Digital Identity Politics, Getting to Know You, Getting to Know All About You, with contributions from Grace Fox and Colin Callanan. I suppose this book comes at a time of a new philosophy that we're seeing in terms of dataism, and this term was textualized by David Brooks in a New York Times article back in 2013, in an article entitled The Philosophy of Data. Rees was quoted as saying, "If you ask me to describe the rising philosophy of the day, I'd say it's datism. We now have the ability to gather huge amounts of data. This ability seems to carry with it certain cultural assumptions, that everything that can be measured should be measured, that data is a transparent, valid and reliable lens that allows us to filter out emotionalism and ideologies, that data will help us to do remarkable things like foretell the future. This data revolution is giving us wonderful ways to understand the past, the present and the future." Now this is a fantastic quote that symbolizes the power of data and the promises that data can give us and the benefits that data can give us. Unfortunately, over the last few years, we've seen that data which arises on a social online medium can result in issues and negative issues transpiring in terms of populism, alternative facts, fake news, and just our ability to garner and assess what's truthful and what's not truthful is the waters have been muddied, okay, and this has been harnessed by certain figures, state figures such as politicians, to kind of manipulate and distort the facts. And this kind of book was inspired, and it's really coined by the fact, trust is a precious currency. And currently the public is losing trust in technology, they're losing trust in social media platforms, they're losing trust in politicians. And currently there's a trust leap movement going on, and that's a societal movement from a known situation to an unknown one. So for example, when trains began, people believed their bodies would melt at 80 miles per hour, and they weren't willing to get on these trains. People weren't ready to take that trust leap. And I think trust matters, particularly for all types of society. When you're asking someone to trust, let's say for example a self-driving car, there's a risk. The exposure to uncertainty with a potential for loss. And particularly when you're expecting people now to trust facts which are being put onto social media platforms such as Twitter and Facebook, and they're put up by senior figures. We're supposed to trust the facts that are put up there. So trust is a bridge between the known and the unknown, and a confident relationship with the future. And if we look and delve into the book, and see the table of contents, I've covered, myself and the other authors have covered such areas as, the digital ministry of truth, the actual contours of identity politics, this concept of magical realism. We examine, is Twitter, is it a lexicon of political lies? And Trump, we investigate how he exuberated this idea of digital rubbernecking and his political masterclass during the 2016 presidential election. We look at a new concept that's proliferating into the digital world, gaslighting. Colin Callanan introduced the concept of digital fascism. Can we trust the gatekeepers, the traditional media gatekeepers that we held trust in for decades in an offline world? Are they now being susceptible to certain nefarious support, which means they're manipulating the messages that we see put up on these online news arenas? In chapter 8 I cover a topic like the prestige, which investigates where we'll be showing one element, and behind the scenes other elements are unfolding. I look how blockchain and artificial intelligence, two really core topics technological trends and topics at the moment and how they're supporting the idea of distorting reality and the manipulation of truth. And finally, Dr. Grace Kinney introduces this really important topic of digital literacy and how we should be equipping, students, younger people and ourselves with basic digital literacy skills that will enable us to decipher fact from fiction. And when I gave this book to Sean Brown, I didn't really want to provide an overview of what it was about. I wanted him to get a first glimpse, to consume it, read it, take it in, and thankfully he wrote a fantastic foreword about what this book is all about. And I'd just like to end what this book is all about with his last paragraph. In reading this book, you will no doubt encounter what can be in equal measure familiar and worrying. Yet the length of the text is such that maybe your first acts after reading it will be to reflect and return to it again. Like with most things in life, if we are to deal with the sleight of hand that pervades our digital existence, we first need to be aware of it. And I hope that this book provides a step along the path to that awareness and discovery. And I really like that end quote. We first need to be aware of it. The sleight of hand that might be portraying in front of us on our Twitter account or our Facebook account. We will see someone updating a tweet. We might have to carry out a few more steps to decipher is the message or the narrative that's being conveyed true or not. I hope you enjoyed this book. I kind of describe it as a pocket guide to make yourself aware of the issues that are currently taking place on social media and on the online world. And if you have any feedback, I'd be delighted to hear all about it. Thank you very much.